Hai, my name is Anindya Lestari from Pendidikan Matematika B 2022.
Hi, I'm Salwa Salsabilla from Pendidikan Matematika B 2022.
Hi, my name is Dustin Vito from Pendidikan Matematika B 2022.
Hello, my name is Zidane Musyaffa Putra from Pendidikan Matematika B 2022.
The Bank Indonesia Museum is a museum that we visited to complete our final assignment for an English course. Bank Indonesia is the only museum that existed during the Dutch East Indies era. Bank Indonesia in 1828 was named the Java's Bank. Since the time of the Java's Bank, there have been 12 cashiers used to make any transaction. At first, the people in charge of guarding the cashiers were ethnic Chinese. Activities within Bank Indonesia are divided into two parts, namely payments and receipt. This is done to minimize failure in calculating the money that has been obtained and other debt. There are several photos showing the first building used for the Java's Bank. The renovated customer service room, the Java's Bank's head office in Batavia, and important rooms located at the head office. Inside the Bank Indonesia Museum there is an article about breaking the myth of the spice pact, explaining that the increasingly expensive price of spice in Indonesia has encouraged Europeans to continue to look for ways to enter the archipelago.
During the Dutch occupation, the Dutch carried out massive exploitation where the Dutch changed the entire system and order of government, both price and roads by doing forced labor without a penny. But at that time, there was someone who wrote a novel, namely Max Havelaar or Mutatuli, which opened the eyes of the Indonesian people that they were being colonized very cruelly. And finally, the Indonesian people began to rebel. These are clothes used by Dutch soldiers. During the Japanese occupation, Japan not only formed a military originating from Indonesian youth, but also closed Dutch banks and replaced them with Japanese currency. But the money originating from the Javas Bank was still valid because in that time was very large inflation. These are clothes used by Japanese soldiers. Indonesia's long journey to achieve independence was very difficult. It had to experience the industrial revolution, which created very high population costs. There was extortion everywhere, forced cultivation, forced labor, and other tortures that were felt by all Indonesian people.
In a speech delivered by the last president of the Java's Bank as well as the first governor of Bank Indonesia, he stated that the end of the Java's Bank would give birth to a bank that would have a longer history than the Java's Bank, namely Bank Indonesia. Bank Indonesia will continue to present and provide memorable history in Indonesian finance. The Indonesian Bank logo originates from the Java's Bank logo, which underwent continuous changes from 1953 to 2005. It started with changing the element of the letter J to the letter I. The Bank Indonesia logo now appears to be firm, solid, and authoritative.
There are several unique facts about Bank Indonesia, namely 1. Indonesian coins in the 1974 World Cup. 2. 3 manis tali is a proverb that means 2.5 rupiah. 3. The origin of the word bank comes from the Italian word banca. which means a bank used to serve people. 4. The origin of the word money. Money comes from the word uang or daluang. There are many kinds of money in circulation in Indonesia. Namely 1. Money from the royal era in the archipelago. 2. Money from the colonial era. 3. Token money and innovation money. 4. Money from the beginning of the independence of the Republic of Indonesia. 5. Government money from Banks Indonesia.